Hello everybody, this is Fernando Herranz, and today I'm going to show you how to use some of the adjustment layers in Photoshop to make some adjustments to an image, to a photograph. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now we're going to go into Photoshop and we're going to go ahead and open a document. So make sure you have Photoshop open, and then go ahead and go to open, and now I'm going to go ahead and look for an image that I have from a trip that I had taken not too long ago. And so I'm just going to go ahead and select an image here, and here we go. Okay, so here's a selfie that I took of myself and my mother a few years ago. And what I'm going to do is, since I've opened it already, really all I'm going to take a look at over here now is I can see over here on the right hand side that I have my adjustment options available to me, and just underneath that whole adjustment section there I also see my layers, and in this case you see my background image, which is my photograph, and there are no other layers there right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one button up here in the adjustments window that looks like it has a plus and a minus, okay, with a little diagonal line going across, and that's going to be the exposure adjustment. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that, and looks like my image is pretty well exposed, but I might make a couple adjustments here. I think I might actually make it just a little bit darker, and as you can see my exposure option is here, and it's just a little slider. And so I'm going to actually go ahead and slide that over maybe about, maybe two-thirds of the way over, and about maybe 2 steps over is what I should say. And so let's go ahead and put a minus in there so that I'm on the right side. Okay, so it's a little bit darker, about 0.66 underexposed, or about 2/3 of a stop. Not quite a full stop. Now these other options here, offset and the gamma correction, I'm going to leave those alone for now, and I'm just going to work with the exposure there. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, hit enter, and it's set. And as you can see, once I minimize this back into the window, you can see that it is a layer over here, adjustment layer just above my background. So you can see that I have that there. So if I'd want to go back and make some additional adjustments, I just double click on the icon for the adjustment layer, which is right here. I don't click on the image here in the mini thumbnail image in the adjustment layer. I actually click on the icon, so I'm going to double click on that. As you can see, it opens it right back up. Okay, and if I go ahead and click on some of these other options, there are a couple options here for masks, but I'm not going to really worry about that right now. I'm just looking at exposure. Okay, and so basically that is all for the exposure. But once you have this adjusted to the exposure that you want, you're going to want to save your image. And of course, for our purposes in our photography class, we're going to be going ahead and going down to File, and we're going to go to Export, and then under the Export option we're going to see the Save for Web option for us right now. So I'm going to go ahead and select that option. Okay, and let me go ahead and drag this into our window, and let me go ahead and just fit this into our screen here. Maybe a little too big. Let's try that one more time. Let's fit in view. I think I'm going to have to make that a little smaller. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and you can see I've got, looks like I'm going to have to increase some of the contrast and stuff, so later on I will have to go back in there and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is. My options here for JPEG are at high and the quality is at 60, which I will leave alone. And I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. Okay, and let me just say 1. And I'm going to go ahead and save that for myself on the desktop. And let me show you that this is in there. There we go. And we'll go ahead and click on Save. Okay, and I'm back to my image here in Photoshop. And as you can see, you've got your layer here for the background and your adjustment layer in this case for exposure. And of course, if you want to add some additional adjustment layers, you have many options over here on the right hand side. So in this one in particular, brightness and contrast is one that I mentioned earlier. I'm actually going to go ahead and click on that and see if I can adjust some of that to make this image just a little bit brighter, maybe a little more contrasty. So let's go ahead and do the let's do our contrast, because I think since we lowered our exposure, that will adjust the brightness. So we already did that, so let's go ahead and do contrast. And I think that might actually help us out. So, and I do see some improvement there in our image. So I'm going to go ahead and go up a little higher. Let's go push it up a little further. Okay, that's actually looking pretty good. And look how far I've gone now. That's already at 71. Let's not go so far. Let's go down to 50. Okay, and that's pretty good compared to what we were at before. So again, I'm going to leave my brightness alone. I'll just do my contrast, and I will put that back into the panel. And as you can see, I think that image is much better than it was before. So if I want to see the before and after, I can go ahead and click on the little eyeball on the adjustment layer for brightness contrast. Just take a look and see. Yep, you can definitely tell the difference there. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave my image as that. And this is Fernando Herranz again, showing you how to use adjustment layers in Photoshop CC 2017. Okay, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope it's been a help. And stay tuned for additional videos from me. Take care. Bye-bye.